The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Christine Leahy is joining me, fresh off the All-Star Weekend and her outstanding work in New York City at the Westminster Dog Show. You mean it's outstanding because of what you heard, because you didn't watch it? The industry, my friends, is buzzing. Oh, okay. About my live reporting. Oh, by the way, you did not have nice things to say about pugs going in, and I will have you know that Biggie the Pug finished in the top 7, and he's only 3. So pugs. There. Yeah. It was like a perfect specimen of a pug named Biggie. And he did really well. Top 7. Congratulations to him. Thanks. Mike Weiss, veteran reporter, New York Times, Washington Post, now at the Undefeated, will be joining us in about 5 minutes. Stick around for that. It was obviously All-Star Weekend in Los Angeles, so let me get to this. Well, the NBA All-Star Game, you used to have it, and then you had the dunk contest, then you added stuff. Dunk contest is now kind of stale, and the skills competition is sort of stale. And so all you have left is the game. And last year it was awful. 192, 182. Nobody played defense. Nobody cared. And so the league had to create something new. LeBron, you and Steph Curry, you draft teams. That'll make it more interesting. Because they were worried the game was becoming completely irrelevant, completely embarrassing. So they literally had to go to a new format to save it. But the format did not save it yesterday. What saved it, because it was a really good last fourth quarter, was LeBron James. Yeah, LeBron James actually took the game seriously and played defense and was really intense. Watch this late game situation. It feels like the game matters.
Neither club has shot well from three-point range. Down to 5 seconds. Curry looking for the 3. Curry double team. Curry can't find it. Now once, and that will do it.
LeBron James going one-on-one with Steph Curry. Hands him off to Kevin Durant. Put him in a straitjacket. They had him in the coffin corner. There was nowhere that Steph could go.
LeBron played defense. So everybody yesterday late played defense. There is not a single NFL player, including Tom Brady, including Aaron Rodgers, that could go to the Pro Bowl and force the other players to care. Not a one. LeBron James came into this weekend, and when that game started, people passed more. There was still hot dogging, but they played defense. Last 6.5 minutes of the game, people were locking down people. They cared who won the game. People think I'm obsessed with LeBron. No, I'm discouraged by the people who cover this league and who think valuable equals stats. Westbrook's been to one final. He lost. Westbrook gets stats. Did he change the weekend? Did he save the game? Nah. In Los Angeles this weekend, what was the game about? Was it about James Harden? Because he's going to win this year's MVP. When James and LeBron were on the floor yesterday, who felt bigger? It doesn't matter if it's player mobility or talking politics or the All-Star game. Leaders are people that others follow. We look at Westbrook and go, wow, he's talented. We look at Harden and go, wow, he's talented. You don't follow Westbrook. You don't follow Harden. You follow LeBron. LeBron took the All-Star game seriously. Therefore, everybody late in the game yesterday did as well. I'm not obsessed with LeBron, but I have to remind people daily what valuable means. There are a lot of things in your life that may be expensive, but you could live without that watch. Could you live without transportation? You can live for 2 weeks without food. You can't last 3 days without water. Water's more valuable than food. This All-Star game was dead. This All-Star game was embarrassing. This All-Star game was DOA. The commissioner literally had to tweak it to save it. But that didn't save the game. What saved the game is the best player in the world who, by caring, created a culture for 2.5 to 3 hours that other millionaires also cared. Here's LeBron afterwards.
I think the format was great. I think the fans did a great job of reacting to it in a very positive way. And, for me to be the captain of the team, Steph being the captain of his team, and us doing that, that draft, it was something that hadn't been done before. And the great thing about our commissioner, he's absolutely okay with trying something new, to change the format. And it definitely worked out for everybody.
And with that, a longtime sports writer, now for the Undefeated, formerly the New York Times and the Washington Post, Jason Whitlock raves about him. Mike Wise. Well, every time I talk to him, Whitlock's just raving about Mike Wise. Where did you and Whitlock meet?
Yeah. At a bar called the Masterpiece in Indianapolis. His father's, but no, I'm kidding. I think we met at an NBA Finals at some point, and he told me to write some really provocative column that was going to get me fired, and I didn't, and then we became friends.
That sounds like Jason Whitlock.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's start with the hot topic of the weekend. LeBron has comments. Laura Ingraham, Fox News, fires. LeBron defends himself. I'm not just an athlete. How did it land for you?
Yeah, it was one of those things where I think it was Michelle Roberts, the executive director of the NBA Players Union.
Yeah.
She went nuts with the fact that KD and LeBron had millions and millions of followers, and Laura Ingraham had subjected her ignorance to these followers, and now they were going to know Laura Ingraham was ignorant. All I was thinking was Laura Ingraham is now more popular. LeBron James is now more popular for this. Polarization now, for whatever reason, is the key to popularity. If you got half the country angry at you and the other half going, get him, that's popularity. And I think in a weird way, it was a win-win for both of them.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument. I saw where one political pundit said, listen, if you're going to be political as a non-politician and you're a star, expect pushback.
I agree. I agree that at some point you're going to have to defend your own views if you're going to get into that arena. I also, look, I believe in the more than an athlete thing. And I think there's a great hypocrisy in the fact that probably me, maybe you, the media in general, has complained for years that these guys they don't care about anything other than their own sneaker companies. We did this to Jordan. We did this to Tiger Woods. And now we're saying shut up and dribble. Doesn't it feel like we're a little hypocrite? There's a lot of hypocrisy going on?
No, I mean, the knock on Jordan was he cared about money, and that's all he cared about, and that he didn't care about. And so when athletes do talk about politics, we should embrace it because we criticized Jordan for not caring about anything for years.
And now we got this renaissance of social consciousness going on among athletes, and it's somehow bad. Now, I will say, if just because someone's view doesn't acquiesce to your own view, I think you got to be receptive to everyone. If someone comes out tomorrow and says, I do think LeBron should pipe down and shut up and he's an NBA player, I don't think everybody in America should get on that guy because it's his view. Like, he's speaking out. So don't just agree with what someone says to essentially parrot your own view.
Mike Wise joining us. So Kobe came out. Doug Gottlieb had an interesting take. He said Kobe came out and told Paul George, he said, if you got to be convinced to come here, you probably shouldn't come here, which is sort of my Tony Robbins thing. If you have to go to a Tony Robbins seminar and you're not self-motivated, you're done. Like if you're self-motivated, you don't need to go to a seminar. Do you think, and Gottlieb's point is, they're just playing mind games with Paul, saying, Paul, if you don't want to come here, you're not an alpha.
Yeah, I get that. It's easy for Kobe Bryant to say now. I mean, he's not on a team that doesn't feature himself or Shaquille O'Neal anymore.
Right.
And I would argue that as great as Jerry West was and probably still is as a general manager, Shaquille O'Neal would not have gone to Los Angeles without Kobe Bryant on the team.
Right.
I mean, let's think about this, Colin. Kevin Durant had to be recruited by Steph Curry and the Warriors. He was the second best player in the world going to a team that had lost the NBA championship in the last minute to Cleveland the year before.
So recruiting
is part of the world now.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of look at it this way. When you're the best player, Duke has this kid, Begley, a terrific player. Marvin Begley, great player. You still got to recruit him. Yeah. Like we shouldn't, like Kobe's pitch is, I can't believe you have to be recruited. But, Mark Rick's the coach of the Miami Hurricanes. Yeah. And Mark Rick told me something one time. I said, what do you like recruiting? And he said, it's just showing love. That's all it is. Exactly. You're just opening up and you're saying, I love you. I want you to be part of my Georgia family or Miami family. Like recruiting's not a horrible thing.
No, Mike Krzyzewski should still have to go into a living room to close the deal on a kid that he really wants to play for his program, even if it's a year. Even if it's a year. And so I think that's you're building a relationship, whether that relationship's going to be a 6-month thing or it's going to be a 4-year thing or it's going to be a 10-year thing in the NBA. You have to show yourself to someone at some point and say, this is who I am. Would you like to come join us?
New York Times, Washington Post, friend of Whitlock and the undefeated senior writer there, Mike Weiss. So I think there are certain things that play really well on Twitter or on the internet that in real life, I'm socially left, fiscally right. I think that Twitter tends to lean a little left, and you can say certain things on Twitter, and you galvanize certain people, but in real life it wouldn't work. And I'll give you an example. Yep. So the NBA now, everybody on the internet's like 16-team NBA playoff format. It's going to solve everything. And I look at it, Mike, and I'm like, okay, so Denver against Cleveland is way more fascinating than Cleveland against Milwaukee. Yeah. It sounds like an internet idea more than an idea that would work fiscally.
Yeah, I don't want to agree with you because it's bad TV, but I'm going to. Because I really think that, one, you can't give into this idea if you're Adam Silver, because the person who originally proposed it to you was Bill Simmons. And Bill Simmons is essentially, people are giving him way too much obscene amounts of money at this point in his career, and he doesn't need it anymore. Yeah. Other people need it.
Yeah, certainly.
So I think that, and he would have to give him royalties. But anyway, it's a utopian idea. I think if you delegitimize a conference championship, why do you even have the East and West? And I also think that,
very good point.
If I really want to see the NBA championship and I want to really enjoy the playoffs, I want the best players playing longer. The worst thing in the NBA last year wasn't that they didn't see the teams. It was that the most dynamic player in the league, the MVP, didn't even last till mid-May. Russell Westbrook was out in like 5 or 6 games. It was pathetic. I was really disappointed. I wanted to see him explode for 50 against San Antonio or somebody. It never went anywhere.
Yeah. Mike Wise joining us. So, like this weekend, I don't know if there's subtle hints or just him being authentic or inauthentic. LeBron came out and said, L.A. was great. My family had a great time. Yeah. It's built for stars. You can read what he's basically saying is, listen, if I go here, there's a reason I go here. There's a reason Stan Kroenke moved St. Louis to Los Angeles. Yeah. They want to move drafts here. They want to move the combine here. They want to move Super Bowls here. Delta Airlines is spending all their money now at JFK and LAX, not Cincinnati. We love Cincinnati. They got great chili. But in the end, we get the whole thing.
Skyline or Gold Star?
Skyline's the one I've had.
There you go.
Fantastic.
My wife won't eat anything else.
There you go.
Yeah.
So LeBron Lakers, it's hard for me not to buy it a little, right?
Yeah.
I read LeBron's comments after the All-Star weekend. It's like, he's dropping a few nuggets here.
So I want to disprove your obsession that LeBron is going to end up at the Lakers, but I also want to give it a little credence too. First, to disprove that, make people think, calm down in L.A.
Okay.
LeBron James and Chris Broussard and I have made a lot of calls over the years to NBA executives and agents and things, and I've done this recently. I've been told flat out, LeBron James is not going to a team in which he doesn't think he can win a championship within a year or 2 years. He's too old. He doesn't want to deal with recruiting. He doesn't want to he wants to go to a ready-made team that's going to get him there. Now, to give you some credence, if they got Paul George, if they put another player in place, and you really believe that Lonzo Ball is going to take some pressure off you and put the ball on your fingertips at the rim?
Brandon Ingram is now developing
Brandon
into a player.
Ingram's a very good player.
Yes. So all of a sudden,
so the Lakers are. Look, I had a conversation with your producers in the back, and I said that's the most ridiculous thing. He'll never come to the Lakers because LeBron James has to go to a team that's going to win a championship. And then we started thinking, there are probably about 12 teams where you could put LeBron James on them right now, and they're in the finals. And the Lakers aren't one of them, but they could be very soon.
When you look, Mike Wise joining us, senior writer for the undefeated New York Times, Washington Post. Going back to the LeBron, Laura Ingram, Fox News, and all this stuff we live in the world now. So when you got in this business, and I got in this business, there was no Instagram. There was no Snapchat. Honestly, there was the internet, but it was it wasn't what it was today.
No.
Amazon was selling books, and there was no Netflix. You are now at a new blog. Look at your career, which has spanned 20, 25 years. I get into this discussion from time to time with somebody I know named Clay Travis. Are we overreacting? Is the media now a big part of the issue? That we're creating controversies where they don't exist. Like, how has your life as a reporter changed in the last 20 years? I stay now off social media because I think it has become A, an echo chamber, and B, little things that aren't big things become avalanches overnight. And I think it's not safe.
And people can also get suspended if you're misinterpreted. I've been down that road. It's not fun. Look, the way the media has changed in my book is, and this is going to sound completely old school, and I'm going to sound like everybody's grandpa, is that classical journalism training was that you decided what stories were and you responsibly put them out there based on what you thought the public needed. Now, all we do is respond to what the public wants. It's like giving kids Fruit Loops every day for breakfast. We don't care. We just want them on a sugar high. We'll give them the Kardashians. We'll give them Tom Brady and Giselle and whatever every day of the week. We'll give them Laura Ingraham and LeBron every day of the week. The best story in town this week, by the way, nobody got to, was Cardi B. Cardi B was, the Crips wanted to kill her. She brought all the security out. They had guns. And she still came to and did her performances. Nobody picked up on that story because it was...
Wait, is that true?
Yes. And I only know that because she asked me, Kristen, to work security. No, she didn't. I'm kidding. But no, that I saw this TMZ clip, and these people were essentially got out of Cardi B's limo or big Escalade before she went to a performance, and they were strapped. You could see their guns
Because the gangs wanted
because
to
she had I guess apparently insulted a gang member with a comment. It was a Crip, and
Cardi B's
she
a big deal, Colin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And since Colin and I are down with the fellas, I can talk about this.
Okay,
Bodak
so
Yellow,
but that
he
was
knows
a
all
big
about it.
story. To you, it was a really good, but it didn't get covered.
No, I mean, it was obviously, it was more of a police story than it was an NBA story. But what really went on this weekend? The beefs were not real between KD and Westbrook and LeBron and Kyrie. There's they're all surrounded by their security detail. They're not going to do anything foolish. They might have some feelings of betrayal over whether somebody left the team or not. I don't think it's much deeper than that. They're all making money. We're all in on this together.
By the way,
it's a trade show. The All-Star Weekend is a trade show.
Thank you.
Like, they all just really care about looking cool. Like, it's not even about basketball
Well, you know what it is,
or anything anymore.
You know, Christine, in the 80s, it's funny you mentioned that.
That's the dog show, too, by the way.
The dogs look cool without even trying.
You're right.
So
You're right. I'm not going to argue that.
But in the 80s, you had this pie of money. And everybody, even Jordan, was fighting for a sliver. Everybody's rich now. So to your point and to Christine's point, there isn't this animosity. Like Jalen Rose once told me this. He's like, just don't mess with the moneymakers. He's like, listen, we're all getting rich. Don't take a guy's knees out. No. Dude, it's not like the 80s where if I took your knees out, I got a bigger slice economically of the pie. I got a $35,000 bonus, Mike. The world, and I don't think it's a bad thing. It's like Silicon Valley. But everybody's making some money. You couldn't live in Walnut Creek, California.
Yeah, well, I talked to Charles Oakley about a year ago, and he just can't stand the fraternization.
Right.
And not that guys should beat each other up, but there's sort of this, everybody's doing the pull-in bro hug, and it doesn't matter if you lost the game or not. And it's sort of like at some point, yeah, we're all friends, but Oakley wouldn't shake hands with guys before, or he wouldn't go out before dinner with friends the night before a big game because he knew he had to dislike them athletically on the court. Yeah. That was part of his job.
Yeah. Mike, great meeting you. Great seeing you.
Good to talk to both of you. That was great.
All right. Back in LA, it's The Herd.